What's up YouTube? It's me, Core. It's time for the next video. You guys asked for more mirror matchups. Today we have the most iconic mirror matchup in Age of Empires 4. It's the English mirror. We have Icewind versus 4088. Both players are Platinum 1. So we are playing on high view today. And we're gonna dive in and see what these guys are going to do. Some information as always. English mirror is it's hard. There are a lot of options you have and what you can do. You can go for 2 town centers, you can go for fast castle, but it's always important to scout what your opponent is doing. So if you say, okay, I'm Icewind right now, I want to go for a second TC. So you have to scout what your opponent is doing. So if you decide to gather some stone up here, and your opponent is committing to feudal age longbow rush, it's going to be hard for you to gather the stone, get your TC up, and don't lose any units or villagers. It is possible, first of all. You can gather the stone, and you can start building your TC around 440, 450, and the English age-up is usually around 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So if he's starting to rally his first longbow over on the other side, you can probably power build your TC with like 8-9 villagers. You might have to micro 1 villager back, and you should be fine. But let's see what they are doing. I expect they're both going for like maybe a one base longbow push. That's what I assume. We can see the 4088 guy went for double scout. He will have a lot of the sheep on the map, but I don't recommend going for a second scout in an English mirror, or especially with English. You don't want to go second scout. Like, the scout takes 25 seconds to produce out of the TC, so you're missing out on 1.25 villagers. And 1 villager in the early game is so much, because you start with 6 villagers, and if you just make a scout instead of a villager immediately, you will just lose out so much percentage of your economy. I think with other civs you can go for like a second scout, but I would never go for a second scout with English, especially not on high view. On prairie there are way more sheep, but still not on prairie. So he is aging up. With the council hall, 4 villagers on the age up. He is still on gold. So let's see what his plan is. Maybe he wants to go for wheelbarrow. Maybe he wants to get some gold for the double broad axe. We will see. And we can see on the other side, there's no age up coming through yet, because he went for double scout. So he invested 70 more food, and yeah, he has 1 villager less to gather resources. But his age up should be coming through here in just a second as well. And yeah, we can see it's the council hall with 4 villagers. So he started aging at minute 3:10, but you can start aging at 2:20 already. So if you start aging 50 seconds earlier and you start rushing your longbows immediately on the other side, you can arrive here with your longbows and potentially start attacking the villagers. So he either has to pull more villagers to finish it, or he might even lose a villager. Because if your longbows attack from here, this is out of TC range. So he has to commit villagers, or he has to pull back and pay attention. But yeah, I think if you go for the fast feudal age in the English mirror, it's probably the best choice. And then you can go for wheelbarrow, you can go for farms, you can go for a TC. Again, there's a lot of options you have. Alright. So we can see both players are still getting gold, both with 2 villagers. So Icewind has 130 gold in the bag already. I hope he's getting the double broad axe as soon as he's aging up. So he has that better wood economy. That means he obviously can make more longbows, because 1 longbow is 50 wood. But now he made a second scout himself, and I don't know why he made that, but it doesn't matter. He made another scout. So he is feudal age now. He's not producing a single longbow yet. And he's also not getting any upgrades here. And yeah, I think if he immediately made a longbow, he could have been here already with 1 or 2 longbows. And if your opponent is making longbows, you can immediately sit on the production and start damaging them. And also his gold is exposed, so you can force him to get off gold here, or maybe he's losing a villager if he's not paying attention. But yeah, so far both players are not doing anything. No one is making units, no one is gathering stone. So yeah, a really slow game here. We can see the mill is coming through here for the 88 player. He is he has enough gold to get wheelbarrow, so I assume he's going to do that. Icewind on the other side, no mill, no double broadaxe. He's going with a blacksmith now, so maybe he's trying to go into some blacksmith upgrades. But yeah, now both players are just starting to make longbows. We can see already he has one scout in front of his production, so does Icewind. So both of them see if they are making units or not. And that is like the important thing. You don't need 2 scouts for that. You can just have your scout around your opponent's base, see if he's making units, and if he's making longbows, you can just respond with making your own longbows. So the mill is up, no wheelbarrow is started though. And yeah, I'm not that sure what both of these guys are doing here. We can see a stable is coming out now for Icewind, and he's also going with the iron undermesh, so he will get the +1 ranged armor. So in a pure longbow versus longbow fight, his longbows will trade way better. And he's also going with a stable, so I expect him to make a few horsemen here. And if your opponent is not scouting that, this can be a really big problem, because if he has like 3 or 4 horsemen out on the field, and the opponent is moving out on the map, and the horsemen are flanking it, you can immediately clean up all these longbows. And especially with having the iron undermesh coming in soon, he won't take too much damage from these longbows. So, wheelbarrow is coming through for the orange player, and he's also going for the specialized pick. But if we look at the villager disruption now, we can see he has 11 villagers on wood, on food. He has 6 villagers on wood, and he has 5 villagers on gold. So he is grabbing the specialized pick upgrade, or he grabbed it, but his most economy is on food and wood right now. So there's no reason to go for the specialized pick upgrade as the first economy upgrade, because the most villagers are on wood and food. So the upgrades you want is the double broadaxe and the horticulture. So this is a really big mistake, I guess, because it's all about wood and food in the English mirror. So gold is not that important, so grabbing this upgrade doesn't help him at all here. And we can see Icewind is stacking them horsemen at home. He killed 1 villager, and now he's just trying to escape with his units. Yeah. So he killed 1 villager. He's 3 villagers ahead in total. So the orange player missed out on some villager production here. He is starting to grab some farms. He got wheelbarrow. He's getting the horticulture now, and he's also getting the double products. So he gets all the important eco upgrades he needs. They are a little bit late, and he started with the wrong one, but in the end he has them all, so that is good for him. But yeah, both players are now going for some farms. We still have no eco upgrade for Icewind. He's just starting with the forestry. And at this point, you should also renew your lumber camp. You have no wheelbarrow, and you can see the villagers have to walk a long distance already from the trees to the lumber camp. So I think it's always good to renew the lumber camp if you have space between it. So you can fit 1 lumber camp here, and especially without a wheelbarrow, it's gonna be even more yeah, it gets worse and worse. If you have wheelbarrow, your villagers move at least a little bit faster. But yeah, at this point you just make a new lumber camp, you have the shorter drop off time, and you will have way more wood in the end, even though you invest another 50 wood to get a new lumber camp, but it will pay off really fast. And yeah, we can see 6 horsemen are on the field now, and there are still only longbows on the other side for the orange player, but he saw them. So he is now dropping a double barracks to try to counter the horsemen, and he's also trying to go for a flank with his 7 longbows here. But this is like a really big problem. You know, okay, my opponent has a lot of horsemen on the field, so right now he's just exposing his army, and even if he's getting 1 villager kill here, his longbows are completely out of position, and the horsemen can just clean them up here. So not only the horsemen are forcing a lot of idle time here right now and almost killing a villager, As soon as he starts attacking him here, the Horseman will pull back and he will just kill them. And we can see right now, he killed one villager, but the Horseman should pull back immediately and just try to find these longbows. And that is 7 longbows, so that is a lot of resources. And yeah, it's his army. This is all he has. He has 7 longbows and the scout, and they are all here. So what Icewind should do at this point, pull your Horsemen back, clean up the units, and then you can move out again. Because right now you have the army lead already. All you want to do is not lose any economy at this point. So if the orange player is losing all his troops here, he has no units on the field. He's about to go Castle Age here in a second. I expect him to go King's Palace. Maybe here's a good spot. Perfect. You secure the wood line. You also secure the deers on the back. This is walled off. And yeah, you basically have to wall this area. And you have the entire backside of your base secured. You secure your deer. You have a big stone. You also have a relic. So the placement of this King's Palace is really good. But he has no standing army on the field. All his army is outside on his base. So there's, if the opponent is paying attention, he will not get his age up through. And now this is the worst thing. He has started attacking the King's Palace. So if he's cancelling it now, he will lose a lot of resources. And yeah, he's not cancelling the age up. And now he's just trying to think about, okay, what can I do here? And now he thinks about cancelling it. And he cancels it. And we can see he lost a lot of resources. He needs 300 gold again to age up. He had a lot of food banked, so he still has the food to age up. But the gold is gone. And now we can see the opponent units of Icewind are just here cleaning up these villagers. And he has no standing army because his longbows are still not back at home. But he has only 7 longbows and there are a lot of horsemen. So these units are just going to get cleaned up here. He is 10 economy ahead at this point. And he has almost double the army count. There are no blacksmith upgrades for the orange player, so these longbows trade really well here. They do 6 damage versus 3 armor, so they still do 3 damage in the end. And these men-at-arms just getting picked off one by one. And we can see right now, the orange player is over-investing so much. He just spent all his food in trying to make men-at-arms. And the age up is completely denied. And we can see right now, Icewind is floating a lot of resources, and he can just go Castle Age himself now. He is 9 economy ahead. He's still cleaning up the army of the orange player. And he will just be Castle Age in a second. Then he can upgrade his units. He can start making knights himself. And so, this is the perfect location for the TC. But you cannot do that if you don't have the army. You know your opponent has horsemen on the field. You know he has longbows, so you can never place the King's Palace here if you don't have the map control. So just a safe placement is potentially here, behind the wood line, securing these farms. And if he's placing it here, Icewind probably wouldn't even realize that his opponent is aging. But now Icewind has to feel really, really good. He stopped the age up. He know, okay, I attacked the age up landmark, the King's Palace. He cancelled it. He must have lost a lot of resources for cancelling it. And on top of that, I also cleaned up his army. So he should feel really, really good at this point. And we can see right now, King's Palace is coming through. So, we just talked about the orange landmark placement here with the King's Palace. But now on the other side, we know, okay, Icewind has complete map control. He has the army lead. So this King's Palace is a little bit too defensive in my opinion. You could have placed it here to secure your second gold. So in the end, if you start falling behind for whatever reason, you still have a second gold secured here from the King's Palace. And yeah, I mean, he probably don't want to run out. He has still no wheelbarrow, so running with his villagers there, placing it here, and then walking back is an investment. But if you think about it logically, it would have made way more sense here to just secure the second gold. So yeah, we have Castle Age right now versus Feudal Age. We have a 10 villager lead and a 15 army lead. So what Icewind should do right now, he should just upgrade his units. He can maybe start making a few knights. And as soon as his upgrades are through, he can just start attacking again. He is on 2TC now himself. So he should pull ahead even more and more economy-wise. And now we can see the orange player is trying to go for the second attempt with his age up here. This time he's putting it in a way more defensive spot. But again, Icewind is coming. He is coming. And if he spots it out, he can stop it again. He's only building it with 12 villagers. If his units are moving here into position, he will lose a lot of economy again. And the Age might get cancelled again. So that's the thing. Scouting is super important because he has one scout here. But if the scout would have been here, he would have seen it. And he would have seen it way earlier. Because now it's almost finished. It's about 60% built. But Icewind is here. He is in position now. The horsemen are going in. What he should do right now, focus the villagers at this point. The age is still stopped. Not cancelled, but stopped. So what he should do right now, just focus on the economy. You're ahead already. So even if you lose some units here, your economy is still really, really far ahead. So you can reproduce all these units. But if you kill more and more villagers here, you stop the age up. And that's what he's doing right now. 2 villagers are going down, a third one. Probably all these villagers are going down if he's target firing them. And we can see the orange player is pulling more and more villagers, trying to finish the age up. But for what cost? For what cost? He's losing so many villagers. The age up comes through here in the end. But he is down 26 villagers. And on top of that, he also lost his army. So the game is technically just over. He has nothing going for him. He finished the age up. But for what cost? And yeah, right now we can just see the flood of units coming through. We have no second range armor upgrade here right now. And especially playing versus English, the ranged armor is really important. Because the town center fires double the amount of arrows. But even without the second upgrade, he has that much of an army lead. He is now transitioning into knights. He has complete map control. He should also start grabbing the relics right now. And yeah, just pull more and more ahead. And yeah. So, what should the orange player do different? First of all, he had double scout in the beginning. Big mistake. You don't want to go for a double scout with the English. You don't rely that much on sheep as other factions because you have the really cheap farms. And if you go for 2 scouts, you should get a lot of information. So, 1 scout should be here in the stealth forest and 1 scout can be here, for example. So if you scout properly with 2 scouts, you should have all the information of what your opponent is doing. So you can see, okay, he is going for a stable and he will start making horsemen. So at this point, when you know your opponent has a stable, you should not move out with your longbows at all because you will most likely lose them. If your opponent is paying attention, he knows where your longbows are, he will just come with his horsemen and start killing your longbows. So, as soon as you see a stable, you should start making your own spearmen. Because pure longbow versus pure horseman is not going to work out too great. So, the second mistake was, he grabbed his specialized pick upgrade as the first economy upgrade at all. So, the most important part with English, you want to get a wheelbarrow. You want to get it as soon as possible. You want to get the movement speed on the villagers, especially in the English mirror, if both players are trying to go for some longbows. And for example, you have farms here behind your TC. So if your opponent is sneaking in with his longbows, and you have this extra movement speed and you see it in time, you can pull back and not lose any villagers. And also, the double broadex upgrade is super important here. And yeah, especially eco upgrades with English are really good. Specialized pick is not that prioritized. But yeah, overall, way too many mistakes here for the orange player. He also was not producing villagers the entire time. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see any other mirrors, let me know. I tried to cover them all one by one. Let me know what mirror matchup you want to see next, and we see you in the next video. Peace.